Trust is a currency, and most people are bankrupt. Every betrayal you've endured, every lie that shattered your confidence, wasn't an accident. It was a failure in judgment. Not theirs, yours, because you trusted the wrong person. And Machiavelli warned you. Centuries ago, he mapped the shadows of human nature, stripped of fantasy, stripped of illusion. While others preached virtue, he dissected power. He didn't care about how the world should be. He exposed it for what it is: brutal, cunning, ruthless. And he made it very clear: if you don't learn who to trust, you will be used, manipulated, and discarded like yesterday's trash. This isn't a lesson you can afford to learn twice. Let's set the stage. Niccolò Machiavelli was not a villain. He was a surgeon, slicing through the delusions that keep weak men weak. His book, The Prince, wasn't a manual for evil. It was a wake-up call. A declaration that power doesn't bend to your feelings. It bends to control, perception, and ruthless clarity. You might think you're a good judge of character, that you can feel people out. But instincts fail when you haven't sharpened them against truth. Trusting blindly is not a sign of strength, it's negligence. And negligence is always punished. Here's the reality. Betrayal is not random. It follows patterns. And Machiavelli gave us a blueprint to recognize them. He showed us the masks people wear, the charming faces that conceal hidden daggers. And he taught us one unshakable rule: never trust everyone. Not because the world is full of evil, but because it's full of opportunists. People who will smile while they gut you, if it benefits them. So this is not just a list, it's a warning. If you ignore these 6 types of people, you will get burned. Whether it's in business, relationships, or politics. These are the people who will dismantle your future piece by piece. Stick around, because what comes next could save you from your next big mistake. If this truth is hitting already, if your gut's twisting because you know you've been betrayed by one of these people before, hit that subscribe button. Because what's coming next will put a blade in your hand instead of your back. Type 1. The overly generous. Machiavelli understood that generosity is a double-edged sword. It looks noble, it feels warm. But when it's excessive, when it's loud, performative, relentless, it signals danger. Why? Because no one gives endlessly without expecting something in return. The overly generous person isn't giving, they're investing, and you are the product. They offer favors, gifts, opportunities, not from kindness, but from calculation. They build a debt ledger in your soul, and one day they'll cash it in. Not for something equal, but something massive, something that traps you. Loyalty, silence, complicity. Machiavelli wrote, "There is nothing more difficult to take in hand, more perilous to conduct, or more uncertain in its success than to take the lead in the introduction of a new order of things." The overly generous person fears this exact thing, that you might stand on your own. So they lace your spine with guilt. They make you believe you owe them your loyalty, your time, your obedience. But real strength? It doesn't beg, it doesn't bribe, it doesn't need applause. If someone's generosity feels overwhelming, like it comes with invisible strings, it's not kindness, it's control. And once you're entangled, they'll tighten the noose. So be alert. Kindness is quiet. Real allies don't need to be seen giving. Only manipulators perform it like a show. If this one hit a little too close to home, if someone popped into your head just now, that's not paranoia. That's your intuition trying to speak. Listen to it. And subscribe if you're ready to see the mask slip off. Because what comes next? It's even more dangerous. Type 2. The chronic victim. They always have a story. a tragedy, a new enemy. The world is constantly conspiring against them, and somehow, they are always the innocent one. At first, you feel sympathy. You feel protective. That's the trap. Machiavelli understood that weakness is sometimes just a form of disguise. Chronic victims weaponize suffering. They use it to extract loyalty, shield themselves from responsibility, and justify their chaos. They are not interested in solutions. They want attention, allegiance, and someone to carry the weight of their mess. And guess what? That someone is usually you. They don't want strength around them, they resent it. Because your stability exposes their dysfunction. Your progress makes their stagnation obvious, so they'll start to sabotage you, subtly at first. A backhanded comment, a guilt trip, an emotional breakdown timed perfectly to derail your momentum. And when you finally draw a boundary, you're the villain in their next tragedy. Machiavelli would say, "He who becomes a master of a city accustomed to freedom and does not destroy it, may expect to be destroyed by it. In the same way, if you allow the chronic victim to remain unchecked, unchallenged, unfiltered, they will destroy your discipline, your focus, your clarity. You can't save people who are addicted to suffering. You can love them. You can wish them well. But you must never trust them with your future. If you've been the emotional crutch for someone like this, it's time to stand up straight. And if you're feeling that weight lift even slightly right now, subscribe, because what we're about to dive into next, it's where the betrayal gets strategic. Type 3. The Flatterer. Machiavelli didn't mince words when it came to flattery. In The Prince, he warned that there is no other way of guarding oneself from flattery than by letting men understand that they will not offend you by telling you the truth. He understood this. Flattery is a drug, and weak men are addicts. The flatterer is not your friend. They are an opportunist. Their compliments are not truth, they are bait. Their goal is not to lift you up, but to lower your defenses. And when your guard is down, that's when the real game begins. They want access, influence, leverage. They'll tell you you're the smartest person in the room. They'll nod at every idea you share, inflate your ego, agree with your every word. But behind closed doors, they're aligning with your rivals. Because the flatterer serves only one god advantage, and the moment you're no longer useful, you're forgotten. Or worse, you're betrayed. Here's the brutal truth. If someone never challenges you, never pushes back, never tells you when you're wrong, they are not on your side. Real allies sharpen you. They call you out. They risk your anger to protect your integrity. The flatterer would rather see you fail than speak an uncomfortable truth. You must develop what Machiavelli called prudence, the ability to see through masks. Because flattery blinds, it seduces the ego and turns lions into sheep. So if you're surrounded by people who only ever praise you, never test you, never question your moves, you're not in a circle, you're in a trap. If that realization is stinging right now, hit subscribe, because what comes next is the deadliest one of all. The person who plays both sides. The traitor with a handshake. Type 4. The fence sitter. They're never fully in, never fully out. They're neutral, they claim. I don't like to take sides, they say. But Machiavelli exposed this as the ultimate deception. In times of peace, the fence-sitter seems harmless, wise even, calm, balanced. But when chaos hits, when lines are drawn and loyalty is tested, they become the most dangerous person in the room. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince is also respected when he is either a true friend or a downright enemy. Because those who stand in the middle, who refuse to take a stance, cannot be trusted." Why? Because neutrality is often just cowardice dressed as diplomacy. The fence-sitter watches the storm from the safety of the sidelines, waiting to see which side wins, and then joins the victors like they were loyal all along. But here's what they won't tell you. In moments of true conflict, indecision is betrayal. You need allies who will take a bullet with you, not people who hide when the shots are fired and show up only to enjoy the spoils. The fence-sitter doesn't protect peace. They destroy trust. Because when someone refuses to commit, they're already leaning toward whoever gives them the most comfort, the least risk. That's not loyalty. That's self-preservation. If someone in your life always disappears when things get real, if they avoid taking a stance when it matters, remove them, not out of anger, out of strategy. Surround yourself with the brave, the loyal, the ones who would rather stand with you and suffer than win by walking away. The fifth type is a different breed entirely. They don't lie with words, they lie with silence. Type 5, the silent observer. This one is the most overlooked. The quiet one. The watcher in the corner. They say little. They do even less. And yet, they're always around listening, absorbing, calculating. Machiavelli understood the art of silence, but he also warned against those who use it, not for reflection, but for reconnaissance. The silent observer isn't neutral. They're studying you, learning your habits, your weaknesses, your ambitions. They're gathering data, not to help you, to use against you when the moment suits them. They let you talk. You reveal everything. They reveal nothing. And one day, you'll be blindsided, because you mistook silence for peace. But silence can be a weapon, a mask, a strategy. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. The silent observer understands this deeply. They do not provoke fear with action. They create uncertainty through absence. You never know where they stand. And that's exactly where their power lies. They are the ones who never warn you before they walk away. They just vanish and take everything they've learned with them. And the worst part? You never see them coming, because they don't move like enemies. They move like shadows. So what's the solution? Don't trust people who reveal nothing, who always listen, never share, who hide their opinions like cards. A person who has nothing to say when it matters will not have your back when it breaks. You need people who speak when it costs them, who declare their loyalties openly, who don't just nod, they act. Because silence in the wrong hands is betrayal disguised as restraint. If you're thinking of someone who always avoided giving you real answers, who stayed on the edge of every decision, trust your gut. That wasn't wisdom, that was calculation. Subscribe if this is making your inner circle look smaller. That's a good thing, because the final type, the sixth face, it wears no disguise. It thrives in plain sight. It's not hidden, it's accepted. And it's the one you must eliminate first. Type 6, the morally rigid. This might shock you, because on the surface, this type appears trustworthy, principled, virtuous, the kind of person who lives by the book, plays by the rules, and holds everyone to a higher moral standard. But Machiavelli saw through the illusion. He warned, "A man who wishes to make a vocation of being good at all times will come to ruin among so many who are not good." Here's the truth. The morally rigid are not noble. They are dangerous because they do not bend, they do not adapt. And when power shifts, when situations demand tough, complex decisions, they become fanatics. They won't betray you for money or power. They'll betray you for principle. Their principles, which change the moment they feel morally superior. They'll turn on you not because you failed, but because you didn't meet their impossible standards. They'll sabotage your decisions, slow your momentum, question your tactics, all in the name of doing the right thing. But ask yourself, whose right thing? Whose morality? Machiavelli knew that life isn't black and white. Leadership demands decisions that are dirty, painful, unpopular. And the morally rigid, they'll never understand that. Worse, they'll condemn you for it. They believe in a fixed code, one size fits all. But the world doesn't reward rigidity. It rewards discernment, wisdom, timing, strategy. The morally rigid don't care about results. They care about appearances. They're more obsessed with being seen as good than actually doing good. And when that image is threatened, they will tear down the entire structure to preserve their moral high ground. You cannot build with someone who would rather be right than effective. So trust those who balance ethics with realism, who understand that morality without wisdom is just self-righteousness, who know when to hold the line and when to adapt. Because in war, the soldier who refuses to get dirty is the first to fall. Look around. Who in your life constantly moralizes, criticizes, refuses to compromise? Who holds you to a perfect standard they themselves can't even meet? Those are not allies. They are saboteurs in virtue's clothing. If this final truth hit like a hammer, good. That's how you build strength. Subscribe now, not for me, but for the next version of yourself that refuses to be fooled again. Now you know. 6 types of people Machiavelli warned us about. 6 faces that wear trust like a mask and hide a knife behind their back. The overly generous, the chronic victim, the flatterer, the fence-sitter, the silent observer, the morally rigid. Each one operates differently. Some come with gifts, others with silence. But they all lead to the same outcome, your destruction, if you're not awake. You might be asking, why does this matter? Why does it matter who I trust? Because your future is not built in isolation, it's built in alliances. Every decision you make, every step you take, every goal you chase, it all depends on who stands beside you. If that foundation is weak, if the people around you are secretly draining your power, you will fall. Not because you lacked strength, but because you trusted the wrong people to hold the line. Machiavelli never said to trust no one. He said to trust selectively, ruthlessly, based on action, not words, based on consistency, not emotion. This world does not reward the naive. It rewards the precise, the observant, the relentless. So what do you do now? Audit your circle. Mercilessly, ask yourself, who uplifts me with honesty? Who strengthens me with action? Who dares to challenge me when I'm wrong and stands with me when the world turns cold? Keep them. Then ask, who flatters me to feed their ego? Who plays the victim to drain my energy? Who watches in silence but disappears in storms? Cut them. Harsh, maybe, but reality doesn't bend for feelings. It breaks those who ignore it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But I'll take it one step further. Your mind becomes shaped by the people you trust. Let that truth sink in. This isn't about paranoia. It's about power. It's about protecting your mission, your vision, your rise. Because greatness demands vigilance. And if you don't guard your castle, someone else will burn it from within. So if this resonated, if something inside you shifted while hearing this, subscribe right now, because this is just the beginning. The next videos are going to take you deeper into strategy, into control, into how to not just survive in this world, but dominate it with precision and clarity. And one last thing, If you've ever felt like your loyalty was exploited, your kindness taken for weakness, your trust shattered, this is your moment. From now on, you see everything. No more illusions, no more masks. Your ascent begins with awareness. Stay sharp, stay dangerous, and I'll see you in the next one.